I look at my job itself is to not only to protect the first responders, but also protect the citizens of the city of North Charleston. So as you look at the design zone facility itself, is making sure that that structure itself is being built according to the code so that you or myself, or any of my family members, whether they go into a school, they go into a mall, or in their home, is that they meet the intent of the codes itself and that it's safe. Well, in my neck of the woods, it's unique. Not only we have to deal with seismic, but we deal with hurricanes also. We're unique. We're right on the coast. Charleston itself, and North Charleston, which I'm the building official for, is that we have to not only design for hurricanes, but we got to design for seismic now. One of the things that where we having an issue that's going on right now, our seismic criteria change went from a D2 to E, so there's some issues there with on how we design and how we look at the construction practice. From the building, from the contractors itself, is we're making sure that they meet those requirements under the new guidelines. Well, we got both. And the thing is, what we look at is that if the way we look at the design practice along with engineers and architects is on the coastal areas and the Charleston area itself, is that if the engineers and everything design the wind practice, you almost meet the requirement of the seismic requirement, which falls under the D or either the E. But we have some challenges going on right now with the developers. They think that by us moving to a higher standard, so whether it be D1 or D2 or either E, is that the cost itself is going to be at the point that where the homeowners is not going to be able to afford a home. I'd rather for a homeowner not be able to afford a home versus than putting them into a structure that's not meeting the intent of the codes. There's a lot, but I share a lot. Itself is there was a unique situation, which one of the things we had a building that collapsed, and that itself, it wasn't in my jurisdiction, but I was notified because they thought it was in the city of North Charleston. We had a contractor. Again, we get these issues with contractors itself doesn't realize is that drawings is very important. Whether permits is important, and they went into a facility and they took out a load-bearing wall, and the load-bearing wall had a floating slab, and so on that floating slab, that facility collapsed on this gentleman himself, along with the first responders and folks from my department and myself. Responding to this, what took place is that these are things that where we look at our job itself is that you may think that it's that you know what you're doing, and not saying that you don't, but those are things that where you need to look at is that if you're not sure, contact your code official, because this gentleman, he survived. This the ceiling itself, it collapsed on this gentleman itself, but again, as my guys, my folks itself, and as a building official, is preaching to the public is if you're not sure, contact us. Let us get involved. What they should do, and the thing of this is, as I go out to communities, speaking to communities, and I pride myself and my department, for going to community meetings and letting folks know is that whenever you have any home project that you're doing, especially if you're dealing with a contractor, is the first thing is to make sure is that contractor, check his identification. Make sure that he is a registered contractor, that he's licensed to do what he's supposed to be doing. And at that point, and then, then contact us, because what has happened in the past is that we get involved with a lot of situations that where a contractor have came in and he charged the homeowner or either the owner of the property, and then we have to get involved after the fact, especially if what he did does not meet the intent of the code, or either someone get hurt. Well, ICC does a lot for me, and the thing of it is that it's not a week goes by is that where we run into a situation is that where I have to contact ICC for code interpretation, because the codes itself, is there for us to make sure that that contract and that engineer or that architect is designed in accordance to. But the thing of it is, there's certain things that, maybe certain exceptions there that I'm not clear on things is that where I need that extra information from ICC to give me that, knowledge on, hey, if, there is exception that what you can do to your practice itself, but it's making sure that you meet the intent of the code. And so ICC is that, like I say, is these conference, the education part of the conference itself, the fellowship and everything with different, states, different communities itself. This is where you learn. This is what it's all about.